How trying became cool again. The Art of Trying. And this is by Nathan Zed. Yeah, let's see what this is talking about.
Wow, yeah, this is the most try-hard intro of all time. Just started like everyone else in front of a microphone, man. Okay, yeah, that's better. About a month ago, an artist named Doechii went viral for her talk show performance. This set had her and 2 other girls with elaborate hair, choreography, rapping really well. And the biggest tweet that came from this was, making those Harriet Tubman music is the cheat code for getting respected in rap. Now, this is an amazing tweet. This is just an amazing combination of words. This random assortment of words specifically chosen to piss people off. I gotta give it to you. This is a work of art. But this is part of an attitude that has been around for a while now. Don't do too much. This performance had nothing to do with politics, Harriet Tubman, slavery, nothing. She kind of just assumed that from the amount of effort that was being put in. Over time, it has become uncool to just try, like just to put in some effort.
Super facts. Super facts. I don't know why exactly. I mean, maybe he's got some deep analysis here. But I think it's also because of the phrase like a try hard, or people that are trying to fit in, trying to do too much and all that stuff. And it's like people, like an entire generation just took it too far, and now nobody tries at all.
Don't do too much, okay? It's embarrassing. Just be nonchalant, be cool, be effortless. This has made everything boring. Everyone is too scared to try because that would be vulnerable. And I feel like only now are we seeing a shift back to people putting in effort and being rewarded for it. But more on that later. How did we even get here in the first place? Because it wasn't always like this.
True. How did we get here? I think this is a very interesting, that could be a long conversation about oversaturation and being burnt out. And like, I know my generation of like, as even like from an artistic standpoint, I feel like I have to do everything. And you could take it all the way back to like, all right, cool. I want to build this musical related business. Cool. I have to learn how to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. So what I'm looking for in the process is like, what's the least amount that I can do in this thing over here to get my point across, so that I can then do this thing over here, you know? And I feel like in one sense, you could stem it all the way down to the fact that we're all in this rat race competing against capital, and that there's very little reward for us to try sometimes, because if our least effort can at least check the box off and then we can go do something else, then at least we'll be looked at as such. This weird psychosis of sorts.
Mozart, Michelangelo, the 𝗕𝗥𝗡𝗚𝗓. Every generation has their greats, but it feels like over time we're giving people more credit for being nonchalant than for doing things well. Like, just imagine if the 𝗕𝗥𝗡𝗚 podcast was created in the Byzantine Empire. We're holding her back. It's crazy to see this contrast between the last 10 years and then the last like 100 to 1,000 years. Even just the 2000s. The 2000s were the definition of not being afraid to do the most. Loud, maximalist, unapologetic self-expression. Everything is in your face, over the top, colorful, has personality. Bro, even things that were corporate didn't feel soulless or generic. Things were allowed to be weird or cringe. The internet was the Wild West, man. You know, before everything became content, you could create whatever you wanted. You could do whatever you wanted. It was a little too much. You might have had to reel it in. And we did. Because suddenly in the
90s was like perfect, but there was no internet.
Mid-2010s, everything shifted. And I don't know when exactly this was. I remember the exact moment I noticed it, and that was in 2016 when the Life of Pablo album cover came out, and I was like, so this is where we're at now. You didn't even try. And that was the aesthetic.
That was exactly how I felt about that album. And I remember this feeling specifically. I was in a car driving down to Columbus, Indiana to do a hip hop show with my crew, Cut Camp. And I was riding with my guy, DJ J Diff, and he was playing it. And he liked some of the records off of it. And I listened to it. And I was just like, I was astonished that he could put something out, it not be finished, have multiple levels of it, and the music just be like no type of consistency to like what we expect from a Kanye, essentially. And people were just eating it up. And I'm like, it doesn't even sound like he tried. And it didn't. And I still don't think he really tried.
The whole deal in the mid-2010s was trying to look effortless, which is an oxymoron in itself. And you're an oxymoron if you tried it. Everything was redesigned to look more simple, AKA boring, bruh. Just straight up soulless. It's the same monotonous, no personality vibe. In the last 10 years, every movie started looking dim, dark, flat. Every movie has that Netflix look, bruh. In relationships, we became so detached. Everyone became so nonchalant. Dating now is a competition of who can care less the most.
That's facts too. Another interesting thing that I've noticed maybe in the last, I don't know how much this is related to this, but I've noticed that, so I watched the Beast games, and then I also watched, there was like some other reality TV show-esque thing that I was watching. The girl that has Tourette's and OCD. And I remember thinking as I was watching it, and granted, this is probably why I've never liked reality TV, but imagine if like they took all of this information that they're giving us in one episode that takes 30 minutes and they cut all the replaying and the cuts back and forth. It would be like a 5 to 10 minute episode, and it would actually be kind of decent. But instead, they have to tell you the same thing 18 million times. It drove me absolutely insane. Maybe that's just a random tangent, but still.
It's also why you're in your 8th situationship in the last 12 months. I'm not hating, I'm just noticing. Every day another tweet goes viral about how we gotta bring back real yearning. Where are the real yearners at? We gotta bring back that level of Oh, that was mine, okay. That sentiment has been around for a while. We miss actually feeling like we can put ourselves out there. But the thing is, nobody wants to be seen as a try-hard. And that's like the only insult that could also be a motivational quote. It's like if I called you a keep going, don't stop, you got this. Look at this don't stop right here, bro. Look at this don't stop. Look what he's doing. He's not stopping, bro. What is he? But I think there's a difference between trying hard because you want to and trying hard to impress other people. We had social media for a while, but it's only recently where it feels like everyone is looking at them. So everyone's standing up straight, trying to be perfect. All eyes are on you. That's why every party looks like this now, where everyone's afraid to move at all. Instagram.
Jay Morris, that's the Jay Moore on the New Old Heads. He's back when he was managing and emceeing the Casbah here in Indianapolis. He had this thing that him and shouts to DJ Lockstar would do. They would film people when they would play records, and all the dudes would come out and they would just stand around while the girls danced. Like they wouldn't go and try to dance with them. They would just stand around and like look like idiots. Because again, it goes to this not wanting to try too hard. Because if you try too hard, then it's too much. Yeah.
Instagram feels like LinkedIn, curating the literal peaks of your life to share. We're trying to understand this new landscape where anyone can be made fun of for doing anything. You can be minding your business in public, you do something a little bit off, and now, yeah, you check Twitter, that video is on friggin' 8 million people's timelines, and you're getting cooked. So the last thing you want is to be seen trying or failing at something. Everyone is walking on eggshells.
Which is also ironic because we're in this space of like, we're like in this interesting space where maybe it's just me personally, where like this awakening, that understanding that like, you know, there's no such thing as failure unless you just stop and you give up and you work towards something. But then there's like this whole magnification of the world that's like, oh, you tried, bro. Why would you try to have good things? Like, don't just accept this over here. This is what it is.
Shells. Artists became nonchalant. Why try if you'll be mocked if it doesn't sell well? In music, we traded elaborate rollouts, cool visuals for mysterious vibes and aura. I've had enough aura.
And vibes is so washed at this point.
All right, we get it. We don't
tired maybe.
Don't know what you're up to. Post the dang songs. It became more attractive in relationships to be nonchalant. Why try if you'll be hurt if you put yourself out there?
You need to ignore her, bro. If you ignore her and don't talk to her, don't text her for a week, you're gonna be amazed at what happens next.
This is like the manosphere of guys trying to figure out how to pick up women and trying to play the game, and happy that this is not my life.
Just chill, man. It's like you have nothing to lose. But we have robbed ourselves of the joy of expressing ourselves to the fullest extent. Even right now, somebody could be like, oh my gosh, this guy's doing too much. What is he talking about? He's in these runs. I don't care. I'm not limiting my enjoyment of life just so other people won't think I'm enjoying life too much. Like, come on. Y'all are not enjoying life enough for me. I'm sorry. The irony is the look of nonchalance takes so much effort that you might as well just try, bruh. You already are. And I think people are getting tired.
Unless you're somebody like me specifically that literally just doesn't have emotions a lot of times. Unless you really just don't care. You're so like destroyed by the world that you literally don't care. Then you try to have fun or you try to enjoy yourself. And at the same time, then you become a tryhard. I don't know.
of this nonchalance, and we're finally seeing a shift. The pendulum is swinging back. Artists are finally putting themselves out there more and getting rewarded for it. Like just a couple years ago, DJ Khaled was
He is the quintessential, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to try harder than anybody else so that everybody can look at me in a very specific way. And when Tyler, the Creator, beat him, it was the most glorious thing that I had witnessed in a very long time. And Khaled's quote unquote crash out, which is the popular thing that I think is already a tired phrase at this point, was just great to witness.
Saying Tyler, the Creator, makes mysterious music.
Called albums that you actually hear the songs, not no mysterious shit and you never hear it.
This is one of the funniest terms because it's a mystery to me how DJ Khaled is allowed to make music. Tyler was offbeat. He was weird. It's not really the type of music that you hear at barbershop.
Hold up, but he's not offbeat. He's not offbeat.
But that's fine. Can that not exist? And now with 𝗕𝗥𝗡𝗚𝗚, we got to see a refreshing, dope rollout in a time when people announce music and it doesn't come out for months to years.
But a lot of that too, at the same time, is because of how the landscape has shifted in music and people's attention spans are so low. You know, like there is something to be said about like the rollout not mattering as much as it used to. To me, and this is just my take, is that like if you're a musician and you're putting music out, it almost makes sense to put the music out and then do all of your rollout that you're going to put out before. Put all that effort in after it's out, because then if somebody's interested, they can go and check the whole thing out. Because otherwise they're going to get bored and they're going to scroll on something else. But that's just my own thing.
Album was announced. There was real world building.
Unless you're like a Tyler, the Creator, or like a major artist like him.
The characters, the sounds were distinct.
Kendrick.
Guy's actually putting in effort, man. This is what I'm talking about. The bare minimum. That's all I need. And he sold 300K first week. His biggest album yet. More than any album DJ Khaled has ever sold. Like, look at all the pop stars of the last year. We finally got like a pop renaissance. These are all artists that have literally grinded for like 10 plus years. And that's why I feel so much more earned to see them win. Artists like 𝗕𝗥𝗪𝗡 taking pop back to being elaborate and maximalistic. Is that a word? I don't know. Doing the most in the best way. This is what I'm talking about, bro. I need y'all. This is pop music. Y'all know where this came from. Why is everybody?
But it's to his general thesis, his idea. Like they're trying, and that's the one reason why like Kendrick's rise and Tyler's rise, and why it's so great to see them succeed, because I've been following their journey as a music blogger and artist or whatever, but specifically as a music blogger and entertainment media, YouTube person, podcaster, whatever. But I don't know. They've always tried. So it's cool to see people that like legitimately are trying, like win and rise to the top over the people like Jello, who should not have anybody spotlight. Like, cool, he has a cool like song that some people like that sounds like it was made in 2005 or 6, but there's no reason that he should be celebrated the way that he is, and there's no reason that he should be popping out at the NBA All-Star halftime and performing this song, which he kind of did, but it was very bad. But especially in comparison and contrast to like what we would see like a Kendrick Lamar at a Super Bowl the week before. So trying does matter, and so yeah.
Be trying to act too cool for this. You have to be out there. You have to be interesting. And I feel like we're getting back to that. Even with how minimalistic Brat was and the whole Brat summer movement, Charli XCX was putting in a ton of work, bruh. People got so tired of Drake not really feeling like he's trying at all, to the point where they were rooting against him in the beef. And Kendrick actually putting in effort into his lyrics, into his love for the art form, made it easier to want this guy to win.
And I think it's deeper than that, though. I don't feel like this is like something that people just randomly started feeling. I feel like this was a sentiment that was extremely strong for a very long period of time, where I think Drake can rap, but I have never liked Drake. And the reason why is because he just does the same thing over and over again. And he just does what works. It's not that he's not trying. It's just that he's not trying to evolve. He's not trying to make anything better than it was before. He's not trying to go to that next level. He's just trying to see what works and replicate it. And to me, that is the next level of this trying thing that, what's the dude's name? Nathan Zed is talking about here.
Effort took him all the way to the dang Super Bowl and winning 5 Grammys in one night. People are valuing real things again. Barbenheimer got all these people to come out and watch 2 movies on the same day just because these 2 directors put in more effort than we're used to in recent big blockbusters. We went from a movie like Nacho Libre looking like this to every $200 million blockbuster looking like this.
We got snowmen! Get that cone out of my face!
Barbie with the colorful sets, Oppenheimer with the dang scale, the epicness of the IMAX camera. They both
And see, like, not everything has to be like so big and blown out of proportion to that scale. But I think a lot of times that does overlap with the trying.
felt like they were made by real people, not algorithms. But one thing stands in the way of all this. None of this is real. We're cooked. With AI, this is like the end game of no effort. This is like it doesn't really get farther than this. Like, you really just study for 8 hours when I just got ChatGPT to do it for me. Good use of your time, Timmy. All right, I'll see you in there. We're gonna do a little surgery on this guy, right? We're getting rid of human voices, faces, thoughts, just so we can save some time. But the best things that have ever been produced.
It goes down to capitalism and what we are. We're going out of capitalism into something much worse right now. Just going to get worse. I'm sorry.
On this earth were by human beings that had to actually think, dig deep down, and come up with solutions to problems. Are we gonna just lose that part of ourselves to save some time? Probably. I think we're shifting, and I think it's gonna shift even harder because people want the real, bro. I think we're gonna fight not by trying to beat AI, but by trying to be even more human. That's how you cut through these days. Everything feels so fake and corporate and low effort that even just caring about what you do feels different. Everyone wants to seem effortless, but the thing is, you have to try hard to get good enough at something to make it seem effortless. One of my favorite stories is Miles Davis improvising a film score in real time, like watching the movie, playing the trumpet in one night. The whole score is done. But that didn't happen because this guy was like, bro, let's just get this over with, bro. Let me just get in there, man.
It's all that practice that went into it.
It took him thousands of hours of honing that craft to make that even possible for me to be telling you about it right now. People are just trying to skip 50 steps now and just get to the effortless part. But let's be real. You might take an L for trying. You might waste your time. You might look stupid. And that's...
Yes, but taking an L is not a waste for time. And I think that's a very important thing that I try to instill in students that I have all the time. Like, get out there, try, do the things. Like, even when you're working on music, one thing that I run into on a regular basis is I'll get students that come in that are a little bit older than, let's say, what you would think somebody would be when they're starting to make beats or wanting to make music and stuff. They'll be, let's say they're in their 30s or something. They come in with a whole mindset of like, I want to sound like this. And then they get discouraged when they don't sound like The Alchemist or I don't know, Metro Boomin after 2 months. It's like, nah, you have to suck for a while and you have to embrace being ass for a while so you can work through it and you don't get like, you have to embrace being not good at something. Like, you have to embrace it. You have to say, you know what, I'm going to continually to make stuff that is not good. And I have to tell myself that, because if I don't tell myself that, then I'm going to get discouraged because I think that I should sound like this person really like right away. And sometimes we just don't. With the AI and with all this stuff, sometimes stuff is handed to us. Stuff is a lot easier. But stuff that like actually takes some time and hard work, especially if we're not like 100% on board with understanding it, or maybe if we just want the outcome and not the path, it's tough.
Scary. But if you actually put your all into it just because you wanted to, you can stand on that. There's more regret in hiding behind the shield of, oh, well, I didn't even try, so it's okay that it failed. That inspires nobody. That produces nothing cool, except you get to help your ego. That's it. Is that what we're doing all this for? Is that why we're here? No. The reality is, we're all just scared, all right? It's fear, is what it is. You're scared. We can't live life behind this fear, bro. We can't create art behind this fear. We can't have real relationships behind this fear. You can't even read a book these days in public without somebody telling you you're not a vibe, bro. I wasn't trying to be a vibe. I was just trying to read
What? You're not a vibe because you're reading in public?
Post-COVID, we are starved for connection. We're starved for authenticity. That's what I'm gonna try to do here. That's what you should try to do in your everyday life. And we can actually try to have fun on this earth instead of acting too cool to have fun, okay? I gotta clean this up now.
Okay, yeah, I like that video. That was good. Please try. Continue to try. is trying is what gets you from point A to point B, and actually caring about the things that you're doing. So, yeah, I love it.